welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today, Marie McCabe is back with us from the Good Neighbor Energy Fund. We'll learn all about that in a few minutes. First, though, as always, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, overcast out there. It's 28 degrees right now. Look out for some afternoon snow showers today, maybe accumulating about an inch by this evening at most. The high today right around 30 degrees. The snow will taper off this evening, and in comes a bitter blast of Arctic air. Temperatures tonight dip into the teens, and they really don't warm up that much this weekend. Lots of clouds around tomorrow with a high only 21 degrees, wind chills in the single digits. We'll have lots of sunshine on Sunday, but it'll be cold. High Sunday only into the upper 20s, but a big rebound here for Monday. Sunshine and 40 degrees. Matter of fact, most of next week looks pretty mild. Right now it's cloudy, 28 degrees here in Quincy. Checking out news for you today, Governor Maura Healey's 5% cut, rather $375 million cut to the state budget is having an impact right here in the city of Quincy. State Representative Jackie Chan of Quincy says some of the city's social service agencies and special projects are being impacted.
Some of the earmarks that we put out there, has been impacted. Quincy Resource took a 50% cut. Germantown Neighborhood Center, the Adams Presidential Library took a 50% cut. The Rashidi Drive temporary signalization project, took a 50% cut. We unfortunately, the delegation brings bad news to people sometimes too. So, I'm sure phone calls have been made, and I made my calls relative to the ones I affected by to let them know. And honestly, people are very understanding the calls when I made them. They weren't angry, they weren't upset, they weren't happy, obviously. But they're very understandable circumstances, and we've had a good run. Okay, and I know COVID was awful, but had all that economic stimulus money from feds, not just giving money to the state, but also into our economy. We've had a good revenue increase because of unexpected wage inflation.
Healey made those cuts after learning that state tax revenues were running lower than expected. The administration says they made the cuts after thoughtful consideration to reduce the impacts on local services, and that they're confident no further cuts will be required in the current fiscal year budgets. The Quincy City Clerk's office already busy preparing for the Super Tuesday presidential primary on March 5th. City Clerk Nicole Crispo says some changes will be made to polling places to make it easier for voters.
Trying to make it easier for all the residents. And we hear what everybody had to say, and our poll workers who struggled to, set the polling place up. Some of these polling places are double locations, and there was some confusion on, where do we put our ballot when we're exiting? We're going to have more signs. We're going to try to petition those double locations as well, only trying to make it easier, better, more efficient for the residents. And one of those things, of course, is vote by mail. Second is early voting, and then vote in person on election day, which, all of these options are there for everybody.
Crispo says issues like poor lighting at the Snug Harbor School, a locked door at the Southwest Middle School, and better access at Broad Meadows Middle School will all be addressed for voting on March 5th. There will also be mail-in and early voting for the primary. The last day to register to vote in the March 5th primary is Saturday, February 24th. Newly elected Quincy City Council President and Ward 3 City Councilor Ian Kane delivered the keynote address at this year's Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast held at Quincy High School back on Monday. Kane reminded participants about the sacrifices made by Dr. King that led to today's freedoms.
I stand in a position of privilege. I don't have to worry about anything. My person and my being are not threatened. My civil and human rights are not violated. This is because of people who have come before me and assumed that burden. The cost of assuming this burden was high, Some, as we know for Dr. King, paid with their life. While we're far from perfect and still have considerable work in achieving Dr. King's dream of equality, the issues that I see today that plague us are in different form than the more obvious hate. I see a battle on the spirit. I see a battle on the mind. I see the treatment of people as others. I see those who act as if their beliefs are superior. The issues today are quieter. They're subversive, but they're prevalent nonetheless. We need to uphold and promote respect and love.
The Reverend Sheldon Bennett offered a prayer. Members of the Quincy High School Choir sang the national anthem. Members of the North Quincy High School Junior ROTC program posted the colors. The breakfast was brought back after a 3-year hiatus due to the pandemic. Plans for a new medical complex in Quincy Center have taken another step forward. The planning board this week unanimously approved the plans by Foxrock Properties to build a 4-story, 100,000 square foot facility, the site of the former Ross parking garage. Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center will operate that facility and provide primary and urgent care, radiology, cardiology, obstetrics, orthopedics, cancer infusions, day surgeries, and more. The plan also includes a parking garage and retail in 2 separate buildings. The medical portion of the development would be eligible for a 40-year exemption of property taxes. Foxrock Properties hopes to break ground on that project later this year and be complete in 2027. Plans still need City Council approval. Finally, Ringo, the Bloodhound, is the newest addition to the Quincy Police Department's K-9 unit. Chief Mark Kennedy says the department paid for the purchase and training of Ringo with funds seized during drug raids and other illegal activity. The Civil Asset Forfeiture Fund is available for police departments and other agencies to use for public safety expenses. K-9 Patrolman David Cooper recently trained with Ringo in South Carolina. Chief Kennedy says Ringo is specially trained to locate missing persons because they have seen an increase in calls for missing children, the elderly, and people with medical issues. It's our Check of News. Coming up, we chat with Marie McCabe of the Good Neighbor Energy Fund. That's next. Welcome back. With this bitter blast of Arctic air headed our way this weekend, lots of folks are going to be thinking about their heating bills, and there's some help available from the Good Neighbor Energy Fund in its 39th year this year. And Marie McCabe is joining us once again, the chairperson of the fund, to tell us all about it. Marie, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Great to see you. How long have you been chairman of the fund, actually?
So this is my 2nd consecutive year, and I was a chairperson a couple of years ago as well, too. So it's been a lot of fun.
You are with the North Attleboro Electric Utility as well, is that right? A municipally owned utility?
That's correct. Yep, another municipal out in North Attleboro.
Okay. So for folks who don't know, let's start with the basics, Marie. What is the Good Neighbor Energy Fund?
So the Good Neighbor Energy Fund is a cooperative effort between sponsoring energy companies in Massachusetts, like Eversource, National Grid, North Attleboro Electric, Braintree Electric, things like that. So we look for ways to help residents in Massachusetts help overcome some financial burdens when it comes to their energy bill.
And when you say we, Marie, who is the we? Who's the folks behind this fund?
So the folks are 19 energy companies, like I had mentioned, and we do meet on a monthly basis. The committee, there's a committee involved, and we have representatives from those sponsoring energy companies that meet, and we help try to bring exposure to the fund. Not a lot of people know that it's available. It helps people that don't qualify for federal or state assistance, so it's not as familiar as maybe a self-help is in the Commonwealth.
Sure, yeah, just last week on this program, we had folks from Quincy Community Action Programs speak about their energy assistance programs, which is a combination of state and federal funds, right?
Okay, yep.
Yeah. This is privately funded, is that right?
This is mainly funded by the general public, and also the companies that are sponsoring the fund do make some nice donations to help us get through the winter and help some customers. So it's basically, you might see a green envelope in your energy bill in the next coming weeks if you haven't already, and that's an envelope that somebody could donate, send a donation into the Good Neighbor Energy Fund.
Sure. So what's the current status of the fund, Marie, the health of the fund this year as compared to years past?
So the fund is in a good state right now. We have last year, I know we've helped over 1,500 customers or 1,500 households in the state. We hope to at least be able to do that as well this year. We got some sizable donations from Eversource and National Grid. We have other sponsoring energy companies that also donate. In some of the programs, some of the companies also have an Add a Dollar program, so that when customers pay their bill online or pay via check and mail in a check, there's a place where you can add $1, which would also be donated to the Good Neighbor Energy Fund. So it's generally the public, and then of course some of the energy companies as well.
Sure. So how much is in the fund right now?
So the fund has, roughly $400,000-$500,000 in there right now to help. We have applications in process right now. So I think we've helped a few hundred people already. The fund opened up in later October, so applications started coming in then. And now with this really frigid temperature and cold weather, I'm sure we'll see an uptick in applications coming in now that the winter is kind of in full force. So we're here to help, and I hope people do call us for that. It's a $400 grant this year, so that helps a sizable amount.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So let's talk about who is eligible to receive assistance from the Good Neighbor Energy Fund, and how do they do that?
Sure. So it's geared towards people who do not qualify for low income assistance. So you're talking about moderate income households, for example, a family of 4 with a gross total income of $87,294 and between $116,392. That family of 4 would be eligible for that $400 grant.
Okay, and what's the process to apply for that? How does that happen?
So the process, I believe, is fairly simple to me. It's you reach out to your Salvation Army community center. I know there's one there in Quincy, and it's a one-page application. If you just have to provide proof that you're in that income range for your household size, and provide your energy bill. And then within 7 to 10 business days, if you meet those qualifications, then you'd get the $400 grant, which would be mailed directly to the energy company. They're with the bill included.
Okay, yeah, I think that's key. So that way it ensures that the benefit goes to where it's intended, right?
Yeah, so I think that's a good point, because people, when they're donating to this fund, they want to make sure that the fund is being used for what it's anticipated for. So we know the Salvation Army, they help us out by administering the fund. So they will issue the check directly to Braintree Electric, Eversource, National Grid, or Unitel, all of those, whatever company it is, that they will send the check directly there. So the donor knows the fund is being accurately taken care of, and then the recipient is getting the bill directly applied to their account.
Right. And Marie, is it just a one-time benefit that somebody can receive one time per year or per season? How does that work?
Yeah, so it'd be one time per year.
Okay.
And it's basically, it's supposed to be a temporary help or a temporary assistance, so that, a resident would apply because they've had a temporary loss of a job, or have been out sick due to COVID or something like that, or have had like another bill that they've had to pay and had to put their energy bill on the back burner, so to speak. So it's basically once a year type of thing. So if you are struggling this year, you find yourself struggling again next year, then apply again next year and see if you meet the criteria again.
Okay. And
Yep.
is it, when they receive a benefit, is it the full amount, the full $400, or is it given in various stages?
So it's typically the full $400. You could also use it for oil. So you just have to make sure your oil delivery is in that amount, and they send that payment to the oil company. So it's typically the full $400.
Okay. And
Yep.
can it be retroactive? Say, if you get the benefit after you've already paid your bill?
Oh yeah, sure. So a lot of people do pay the bill and then find themselves, they know they're going to be without a paycheck for the next month or so. They're having surgery, something like that. So then if you apply, and say you have a hardship because you have a medical procedure or whatever the case may be, then you can, as long as you meet the income guidelines, then you'd still get the funds even if it's retroactive.
Okay, good to know. And if someone is denied, Marie, but then their situation changes for whatever reason, can they reapply in that same season, that same year?
Yeah, absolutely. So if they're denied for some reason, maybe their application's incomplete or their income has changed, they've suddenly lost their job. So yeah, you could definitely reapply, reach out to your Salvation Army Community Center, check the guidelines on our website as well. And you can call us and we can reassess the application.
Okay. Do you know, have the income guidelines changed over the years? I know for the federal and state assistance programs, the income guidelines have actually gone up to qualify more people. Is it the same with the Good Neighbor Energy Fund?
Yeah, so they do change yearly. So
Okay.
it's between 60 and 80% of the medium state income level. So they do change a little bit each year. So you just want to be aware of what where you fall for your household size.
Okay, good
Yeah.
to know. And about how long does the approval process take, or the process take, whether it's to let the ratepayer know if they're approved or not?
So it's pretty streamlined, thankfully. So once they apply, they would know pretty much right away from the Salvation Army if they are approved, because they have to fall into that income guideline, and if they've provided the documentation corroborating that. And then after that, it'll be about within 2 weeks or so that the energy company will get your $400 grant directly paid to your account.
Okay, all right.
So it's not too far.
And if folks are having their energy supplied by, say, a renewable energy company, do they also qualify for this, Marie?
So it would be anybody that services your house, provides energy in Massachusetts. So
Okay.
it could be, propane, kerosene, things like that. So whatever you heat your home with, or if it's electricity, then that would also be included. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And geographically, is it it's called the Mass Good Neighbor Energy Fund, so is it the entire state?
It's the entire state.
It
Yeah.
is.
So from here to Springfield, east, west, right? It's the whole entire state. So anybody who's a resident can apply.
Okay, very good. How do folks contribute to the fund if they wanted to do that?
So we do have our website, which is magoodneighbor.org.
Right.
So they could apply there. There's a donate button. You can also mail a check to the Salvation Army in Canton, their headquarters. They would gladly take that donation, and if just maybe write in the memo of your check that it's going to Good Neighbor Energy Fund. So those are a couple of ways. And also with your energy bill, there's probably somewhere on that energy bill that allows you to make a donation, whether it be in the envelope that may be included. There's a green envelope this year that may be included with your energy bill, or there's a way to add that, whether it's add $1 or something online that you could also contribute to that would go towards the Good Neighbor Energy Fund.
Okay. And is there a deadline, Marie, or a time period in which people have to apply?
So there's no deadline per se. We do want to make sure we have funding available. So there is funding, of course, right now. If we get an influx of applications between now and, March or something, the funding may be a little bit lower. We haven't had that happen in a couple of years where we've had to close the fund for a little bit to make sure we get everybody's applications processed. But I would say if you're interested in pursuing the grant, then definitely apply sooner rather than later, just to make sure the funding is there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point as well. But is the fund is in existence all year long? Is that right? So does money get carried over if it's not used?
Yeah, so the fund, that's a good question, Joe. The fund is in existence all year long. So if you, for some reason you're making it through the winter, fine, but then summer comes and those air conditioners are running, we have a heat wave and the bills are high in July and August, you can reach out to us then and we can see if you can qualify for the grant then as well.
That's, the way the weather's been changing lately. I'm thinking we need to think more about, cooling than we have in the past, as well as heating.
That's right.
Sure. Now the fund itself, Marie, can other utility companies get involved? Has that fluctuated over the years as to the number of companies that are participating?
Yeah, so we've had energy companies join, and anybody's welcome to join. Any of the energy companies are welcome to join the committee. Some companies have their own energy assistance program, so that might be why they haven't joined. But we would welcome any and all sponsoring, any energy company in the Commonwealth that would like to join the committee and help with the Good Neighbor Energy Fund. They're most welcome.
Okay, good to know. And is there any cost at all to apply?
There's no cost to apply.
No cost
Nope,
to apply.
not at all.
Okay.
Yep.
And I know the advice you and I have talked before is if you find yourself struggling, don't let yourself get shut off, right? Just reach out for help before.
Yeah, so that's another good point. So in the winter, there is winter protection. So for people that, if you're having some struggles, you can reach out to your energy company and let them know that, however you heat your home, if you're low income or moderate income and you're struggling, winter protection is from November 15th to March 15th.
Okay, all right.
So you could also reach out and let your energy company know then that you're having some problems making your bills. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. I was thinking if hopefully it doesn't happen, but if the fund does run out for some reason, but you've been approved to receive a benefit, does that approval kind of get, carried over when the fund is replenished?
So that doesn't happen yet. So
Okay.
I'm hoping that won't.
Yeah.
Let's hope it doesn't happen. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think we would know, once we get to a certain level, we would let a customer know or a resident know that's trying to apply that it would be pending available funding. So if we get to that point and we haven't, then, we would just let them know. We just make sure that there's funding available.
Okay. And the donations we didn't mention, but they're tax deductible, right?
They are, yep. They are tax deductible. So if you're looking to try and make a charitable contribution before your taxes are due April 15th or whatever day it is this year.
It's the 16th in Massachusetts because of
16th, right? Yeah. So if you're looking for a charity to contribute to, the Good Neighbor Energy Fund is a great, charity to be able to do that.
Yeah. And when you do make a donation, do you get a receipt or some kind of acknowledgement that you've made a donation?
You will get an acknowledgement. You'll get a receipt for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Anything else we should let folks know about?
I think we've covered it all. I think, just reach out. Don't be shy or timid about reaching out. Everybody has gone through ups and downs in their lives. So reach out if you're struggling a little bit with your energy bill, and we're always happy to help.
Great. Appreciate it, Marie. Always good to talk to you and catch up about the fund and let folks know about it. And stay warm.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
All right. Good to talk to you. Take a little break here in the program. We'll come back and recap that frigid weather forecast for you in just a moment. So we are expecting some light snowfall later this afternoon, probably through the evening commutes, but very little accumulation. Temperatures today in the upper 20s to near 30 degrees, but that bitter blast of Arctic air blows in tonight down into the teens. Tomorrow, very cold, cloudy, highs only in the low 20s, wind chills colder than that. A pretty brisk Sunday, but lots of sunshine. It'll look nice, but it'll be cold. Highs only in the upper 20s. We start a quick warm-up beginning on Monday with a sunny day and a high Monday near 40 degrees. And most of next week, by the way, looks pretty mild. Right now we have 28 degrees with clouds in Quincy. Thanks again going out to Marie McCabe from the Good Neighbor Energy Fund for joining us. Thank you to our crew, and thank you for watching. Monday here on the show, we'll learn all about the new Yawkey Housing Resource Center being run by Father Bills and Mainspring. Meantime, please visit our website anytime. It's qatv.org. You'll find our latest programs. There's news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a warm weekend.